You don't, mate. That's how we're starting this.
There we go. Is that how we're starting? There we go. Hey guys, hope everyone's well. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Bugle. Joined once again by Mr. Quinn Duggan. Quinn, how the hell are you doing, sir?
I'm alright, mate. You alright, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yes.
Alright, mate. I'm going to do this whole thing in this voice.
We're getting you not. We're getting ready for our event of the weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. You are no longer having a sleepover.
So yeah, welcome to everyone in the chat. There's sort of 10, 15 of you at the moment. So yes, welcome. And Quinn, we've had little snippets of news over the last couple of weeks.
Cool.
We've actually got a character card. A new character card.
Stop boiling, the end is nigh.
Which, yeah, a welcome change because, yeah, it's been far too long. Let's be honest, Quinn. And I think I was really worried that what was going to happen was they were going to reveal loads of things, and then we were going to have to wait until June for Mini Extravaganza. But fortunately, that is not the case, and we are actually getting to go through a card right now, and what a card it is.
It's the card now.
So cool. So without let's just jump into it, Quinn. Let's take a look then at Black Swan. I've only got her healthy side up. I'm going to tell everyone now her injured side is identical, so we don't need to worry about that. But let's take a look at Black Swan.
I mean, there's immediately a glaring issue.
Which is?
Alter ego.
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it?
Why is she not Yabat Umon Turu?
I know, which... I'm trying to think, are any of the other members of Black Order, do they have any other names?
They don't have different names because their names are their names, but she actually has a name.
Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it, that they've done that? Yeah, because it's a ridiculous name, isn't it?
Yabat Umon Turu! I think it's fun to say.
So, obviously, we know, before we get into the card, we know that she's going to be part of Black Order, right? I mean, that's we just know that. Do we think she could be in any other... Is she going to join the ranks of generic evil woman in Cabal? But because none of the other ones have they? None of the other ones have made their way into Cabal.
No, I don't think she will. That's my gut instinct is she's going to be probably Black Order only. Maybe she becomes part of Doom's affiliation when Doom comes out because she did work for him.
She did, but she actually... Because there is, even though it's nothing like what we have in MCP, there is something called the Cabal in Marvel Comics, and she was a member of the Cabal. So she's the only one from the comics that has been, which is what made me think maybe she could be part of it. But again, I think the Cabal that we've got in MCP is so far away from what it actually is.
From being anything that is anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's go through her stat then card quick. And actually, she holds the honour, doesn't she, of being the first character revealed that comes with the brand new character card setup.
Yeah,
so,
she is.
Obviously outside of Errata's, so she's the only one that has had it. So, that's a little accolade for her.
Yeah, she got there before the rest of the characters in the game that should have one coming in the card pack but don't.
Well, there is that as well, isn't there? Anyway, we've
I'm not going to stop being angry about that.
I know. It's really hard to not be angry about it, isn't it? But let's go through it, Quinn, because there's quite a bit to take in here. So let's start off then. Black Swan, as you say, alter ego of Black Swan.
Yabat Umonturu.
Yabat Umonturu. 4/3 for her defense. 6 stamina. Threat 4, height 2, medium move. So 4 threat.
all very standard 4-threat stats.
Very, very
Typically, 2
standardy
swords and a
stuff.
3 for
Yeah.
defense, 6/6. Yeah.
Yeah, you're normally looking at sort of between 9 and 12, right? 9 and 11, 9 and 12 for your stats combined in defenses. So 4-4-3 is pretty good. And I thought she was going to have a long move, but when we see one of her superpowers, we can see why she doesn't have the long move.
Yeah.
But first up, we've got her first attack, which is straight up builder. Damage equal to power equal to damage dealt even. Strike.
She doesn't take damage.
She doesn't take damage.
For gaining power, that'd be a bit bad.
So range 2, 5 dice, 0 cost. But it does have the trigger on a wild. If the target character is size 4 or less, before damage is dealt, it may be pushed away from this character short. Which is nice, right?
Always nice to have a bit of
never a bad thing. And Dormammu was the only person that she can't push in the game, basically. Yeah. And she can, even
she also can't push Hulkbuster if he's used this thing.
Yeah, can push Juggernaut though, because obviously it's not a mystic attack. I-beam. Quinn, why is it called I-beam and it's only a range 3 and not a beam?
They realised that giving characters that shoot lasers out of their eyes a beam makes them inherently shit. If you look at example A being Cyclops.
Yeah, because visions comes from the gem, doesn't it? Yeah. So I-beam, range 3, 5 strength, 1 cost. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the incinerate special condition. No trigger needed whatsoever. And then pierce on a wild, right? So change one of the defending character's dice to a blank.
Can you imagine if Cyclops had this?
Well, yeah, it makes Cyclops sad.
I mean, imagine if Cyclops had this and his leadership, instead of reducing the cost of spenders, let them act as builders.
Well, yeah. So super good. I mean, being able to dish out incinerate.
Get guaranteed incinerate
is really good.
Cable sad. Yeah. Basically, she makes the entire Summers family a bit sad, which, I mean, they were already on the verge anyway. They did not need the push. True.
And so as well, Quinn, as going into being the only character that we've had so far that is in the exclusive club of having a new card, she has something on this next attack that puts her into another exclusive club with only, I think, 4 or 5 other characters. So everything dies, range 2, 8 strength, and 4 power, which is pretty nice as a spender. On a wild, she gets a throw. The target character is thrown short. No size restriction. So, yep, she's yeeting Dormammu.
Goodbye.
Which is really nice. It's I was looking at this, Quinn. We'll finish it up there. But then follow up on a hit. After this attack is resolved, this target character may make an I-beam attack without paying the cost. The additional I-beam attack must target the original target character and ignores range and line of sight. And that's really important because what it means is then you're not throwing them. You can choose to throw them first and it's not going to affect whether or not you can do that follow-up. Because I think, yeah, if you throw somebody, if you're at full range 2, you then throw them short, you're outside of range 3, basically.
Yes.
Which maybe is then why I-beam couldn't have been a beam attack, because...
That would be a bit good, wouldn't it?
Imagine being able to throw them and then lining up the beam.
Imagine you charge into a Hulk, throw him into a Steve, and then beam both Hulk and Steve. Oh.
Yeah, that would be really good. I was comparing this to Groot's spender, because very, very similar. Range 2, 8 strength, 4. I think Groot's is 5 cost.
Groot's is 5, yes.
Now, obviously, Groot's a very different character to Black Swan,
I
right?
mean, he's a threat less for a start.
And also she is a murder ball, right?
And he's a tree, yeah.
And he's a tree. But yes, he gets it automatically, and he gets to do the stagger. But I think for murdering people, this is a pretty darn good attack. And she has a charge.
I like me a character with a charge, don't I, Rich? Zemo.
She is. Charges are so strong, but when you've got a charge and these sorts of attacks,
yeah,
it's just crazy. I mean, for 6 power, she's charging, doing an everything dies, potentially doing a throw, and following it up, or potentially following it up with an I-beam for 6 power. So
very nice.
13 dice with a throw, with a pierce.
13 people don't die. Everyone dies.
Everyone dies. Everything dies. Not everyone dies. So yeah, I think some very, very strong tech there. First reactive superpower then, Quinn. Midnight Field. So cost X. When this character is defending, it may spend any amount of power to use this superpower during the modify opponent's dice step of the attack. So that's important because you get to choose to do this after you've already seen some data. You don't have to, just choose to do it straight away. And then for each power spent to use this superpower, this character may change 1 wild in the attack roll to a blank. So it makes her a little bit like MODOK, similar ability, but obviously she's having to pay the power for it, and MODOK just gets it. But I think, just going back on that, Quinn, so during the modify opponent's dice step, so basically what would happen there is you would roll your dice, then the attacker would modify their dice, you would modify your dice, the attacker modifies your dice, and then you modify their dice.
Yep.
So what it's not going to do is negate things like a pierce, for example. But what it does stop are any other triggers, potentially. With the exception of Scarlet Witch, because she's just a rule unto herself. But any triggers that need a wild are just not going to work against.
There's also the fact that you don't take the damage.
Well, I'm not taking the damage. Yeah, absolutely, because you can change more wilds than they can get from pierces. If they've got, 4 wilds, they can still only pierce 1, right? Whereas, they're going to lose all 4 if you've got the power. It also stops things like Vision Sap, where it's 1 per wild, which is quite nice because that happens at the end, doesn't it?
It's before it's dealt, yeah.
So
After
so really, really like that. So that makes her.
I mean, she's almost MODOK-y in that regard, right?
Yeah. And then lastly, telepathic suggestion. When this character is attacking, it can use this superpower during the modify opponent's dice step of the attack. If it does, it may re-roll 1 opposing defense die. So you can change all the wilds, and then on top of that...
No.
Oh, no, sorry. This is the other way around. Ignore me. So this is...
Attack superpower, defense superpower. Yeah,
this is Goblin's leadership.
It's Oscult weaponry, yeah.
Which, is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good.
I maintain that Oscult weaponry is one of the best offensive leaderships in the game. And I mean, you take her in, Spotifos, you're doing it twice.
Yeah, and only paying for the power once, which is really good.
Oh, nice! You got 2 blocks, did you? No, you didn't.
Yeah, no, it's super good. And then innate, we got flight, and then Quinn, she is a gem bearer of the power variety. Now,
and probably the only good power gem bearer.
I'm gonna make a statement here, Quinn, and say, not only is she the only good power gem bearer, that power gem should be stapled to her. Having 3 power turn 1 and all the things that she can do with it. It means you can do a charge with a strike and have enough for telepathic suggestion, or you can have a strike with a charge with an eye beam, then follow it up with a strike if you only had to move once to get in range. I think she very much is good enough as a character to be a threat more with the power gem.
I think in a general setting, I agree. However, I do think there are going to be teams that can better leverage her as a 4 than a 5.
Maybe, yeah. So I think if you look at anyone that can feed power into her, or anyone that can reduce the cost of her abilities, right? I mean, Quinn, she sits really fucking well in. Can you reduce Steve?
You can't reduce X cost superpowers.
You can't reduce
X
cost.
Charge for 1, which is real good.
Which is really nice. Telepathic, obviously, it does nothing. But I mean, is there room for her in Brotherhood? I'm
Cabal.
I'm not sure. Cabal is amazing because all of a sudden that everything dies costs.
It's costing 2.
2. If you do a damage with I-beam and everything dies, which on average you should be doing into most people. Air Force is another one where she could be really good.
I mean, she is a woman.
She is a woman. I don't think, but she's evil woman, isn't she? So she won't be going into Air Force.
Gamora was an evil woman at one point. She got it.
I don't think Black Swan ever hasn't been, though. I think that's the problem.
All I know is that she likes fries because I saw a comic panel where she was like, these are nice.
I'll just read some... Excuse me, let's read some of the chat here. So, Nathan says, normally I'm in the office on Thursdays, but my schedule got topsy-turvy this week, and I can listen in as I work from home. Well, welcome, Nathan. Miles, when is this going to start? It has.
In about half an hour.
Yeah. Evening, Daz. Evening, Jonathan. Nick Bell, she's going straight into my shield roster as a 5 threat. Interesting.
Aggressive on her is nice.
Yeah, I really, really don't mind that at all. David Moffat, she seems so awesome. I suggested she might be a bit power creepy on the MCP made page and got some negative feedback from Nate the Great himself. So I'm assuming that's Nate, Gamers Guild Nate. Well, let's address that. Let's address power creep in this game quick. And I think the problem is, let's compare Black Swan to some of the other great 4 threats in the game.
Even like the great ones. Let's compare her to a core set 4 threat. Let's compare her to Carol.
Let's compare it to Danvers, right? She is as good as.
I would say they are comparable. If you put the gem on, rightfully so for being a threat more, she gets massively turned on.
Yeah.
Right?
She is she, Quinn, as good as Murdoch as a 5 threat? She does different things, but
she does different things, but I think I'd be happy to pay the price.
Yeah. Is she any better as a 5 threat than Ghost Rider?
I wouldn't say she's better. I know. I think once again it's a comparable thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think one of the problems, David, around that is what the last 4 threat we've had released. In fact, the last few 4 threats we've had released, because I'm actually still not convinced about Shadowlands Daredevil. I'm going to be brutally honest, Quinn. But the last few 4 threats we've had released have been subpar. So the problem then is that we're comparing a 4 threat character who is in the upper echelons, but she's not what Medusa is, or she's not what Enchantress is, and she's not what Okoye was, or she's not what Valkyrie was, right, in terms of being way above the curve. But the problem is that what we do is we directly compare this 4 threat to the last 4 threat we had, which is Elektra. And yes, we have found some places for Elektra, but let's be honest, we always say that a 4 threat should be self-sustaining. You shouldn't have to rely on external help to turn a 4 threat on. If you're relying on a leadership or you're relying on 1 or 2 tactics cards, then in my mind, they're not a good 4 threat. Electra does a very specific job quite well in one particular affiliation, but it's actually not Electra that's doing that. It's the grunts she come with that let people recycle that card. So I think that's where we're seeing, or it seems like there is a power creep, because we've had a very, very, let's be honest, a very underwhelming character in Electra overall. And I think a lot of people were really looking forward to Electra. Shadowlands Daredevil, I think he's okay, right? But he's not, he's not bursting through the scenes as being the best four-threat leader in the game.
Shadowlands Daredevil is a leader, and typically leaders aren't as good as their threat category because they bring that leadership with them, and sort of they're required to be taken anyway. Right? That's sort of their thing.
And they pay for that leadership, don't they? That's part of their inherent thing, which is why it's often really hard to take a leader out of affiliation, because part of their threat is
you can do, and I think probably the only one that you do it with very regularly is Panther.
Thanos is the
I don't count Thanos as a leader, if I'm honest. I see him more with anyone else than fucking Black Order.
I mean, this is true. So I would say, David, whilst it may seem like from the last couple of releases, yes, there's power creep, but I think what we're doing is actually just comparing two characters that have recently been released who are at the opposite ends of the bell curve. So it may feel like that, but if we actually compare Black Swan at 4 or 5 threat to other 4 and 5 threat characters who are also at that top end of the bell curve, I don't think there's a problem with it. I really don't think that power creep has really happened in this game. I think what we've seen are more complex mechanics. We've gone from get 1 power, save 1 power, to you can roll these number of dice at the end of a turn, and if it's this, it'll do this. Or I think we've got more complex mechanics. And typically what happens is with complex mechanics, they're harder to learn, but the reward, if you master them, can be far, far greater. But even with that, I don't think we're seeing any sort of power creep at the moment. I think they release both very good and shit characters. So well done, AMG, for being consistent.
What's the saying they have in Game of Thrones about the Targaryens? Every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin.
The gods flip a coin, yeah.
Every time an MCP4 threat is made, AMG flip a coin.
It's just a dartboard of... What's your defensive stats going to be? 2. Oh, and you're a slow mover. She's on a small base as well, Quinn, isn't she?
Yep, as is her counterpart.
As is her counterpart. So, not particularly mobile. That's one thing. Obviously, she's got the charge, but...
She's got the action efficiency, but if the only thing you want her to do is go a long way real quick, she's not the girl for you.
No. Gamora... As a 4 threat, Gamora probably fills that role a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because what you can tend to do with Gamora is, especially if you get 2 power onto an advanced R&D or something
do like a
that,
move, leap, attack, that
long
sort of thing.
move, bounce into somebody, cause a collision damage, and then
when you do
up.
that collision, it's almost like a free attack because it's basically going guaranteed 3 damage.
Yeah. Well, how many successes are you going to roll on a strike? Right, usually a normal 5-dice strike. 2, 3, typically, right?
Gamora's closer to 4 because she's 6 dice with.
She does have
Deadliest Woman.
She does. No, but if we're comparing Gamora to Black Swan, so Omnifan says, "I'm excited for this box plus Black Order combo box. Easy to purchase, team. Yeah, it's really nice. I think it's." I mean, we called it was going to be Supergiant and Black Swan the moment we saw the pictures. People doubted us, Quinn. But I think it is nice when you get character packs that people are looking forward to. Did we need another Black Order box? I'm not sure. But if it mixes up Black Order and it means that we're not seeing the same 3 characters played at 16 threat.
An actual affiliation rather than a 16 threat team, that'd be nice.
Yeah. And my shout, Quinn, is... obviously, because we're not seeing a leadership here on Black Swan, unless they've thrown us an absolute curveball, and just completely blindsided us. I can't see the First of the Black Order being anything other than a Convocation-esque add-on.
I mean, all those weeks ago, the moment I read the name of it, I was just like, "Bam, that's what that is," because
Yeah.
it just has to be.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So and I think if you look at Black Swan, she's been a leader before. Corvus has called himself the First of the Black Order before. Ebony Moore's a potential one for it. So it may be that she comes with an add-on leadership, which all of a sudden really changes the dynamic of the game, Quinn, because we spoke about how a character with a leadership pays for that leadership in some way, shape, or form. But you're not having to do that if it's a bolt-on, which feels quite good in terms of threat efficiency.
Yeah, I think so.
But as I mentioned, guys, her card on the flip side, I haven't even downloaded it because it is identical.
Yeah. It is.
But it'll be very, very interesting to see what she's like on the table. I'm going to try and get a game in with her over the weekend at some point.
I do find like the art quite interesting because it's almost like they've changed like 3 things and it's basically the same picture.
It's there's not much. Well, she's got a couple of little rips in her.
She's got a couple of little rips. She's like brought a leg up and like her hair's a bit messy.
And she's a bit more pinkish in the eye.
Well, she's got slightly more glowy eyes. Like, yeah.
But there we go, guys. Let us know in the chat, what do you think of Black Swan? I think this character definitely gets a thumbs up from me and Quinn. She brings, as you say, Quinn, anyone with action efficiency is going to be, is going to be able to do something.
You know what, Rich? You know what?
Go on. 2 thumbs up. Oh, reserved for only the best of characters. But I think she's going to be super good. I think we're going to see her splashed a lot.
Only the best for your Batamon True.
And obviously the one thing she doesn't have is her own dice manipulation. Put her in a team that has dice manipulation.
Put her in like a Wakanda or a Guardians.
Guardians, I really like the idea of. Really, really like. It'd be nice to have a Guardian that can actually run the power gem. But yeah, or I mean, Quinn, you know that I'm at the moment. I am playing I'm going for the unaffiliated badge
you're a
on
rogue agent.
Longshanks.
We don't know what you're doing. Ooh.
I'm going for the rogue agent, and she fits right in to the roster that I run. I mean, she would be replacing probably a Sabretooth, if I'm being brutally honest. Even though Sabretooth puts in work, I'd much rather have her in there with the extra power. And even because I run Lockjaw in there, even being able to do a potential turn one, everything dies. Because if she's got the power gem and I can dish another power onto her from Lockjaw and maybe even teleport her up the board as well, rather than dishing it out to everybody else.
Bam! Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Daz says, I'm really looking forward to testing her at 18 with Thanos and Corvus.
I am sure you are the only person looking forward to that, Daz.
The flexibility to spend on offense and defense is really good. Yeah, it's really unusual, David. You don't often see characters that have this mix of things that they do. You look at other 4 threats, and Steve, for example, is he is all about the defense.
I mean, you say that, a couple shield slams, and that's 2 characters off the board.
Well, yeah. Killmonger is all about the offense. So I think, yeah, it is nice. Actually, Gamora is the other one that I was thinking of that is also quite good at that as well. Hank Moody says, question for later. Any predictions, hope for upcoming characters? Hoping Archangel and Apocalypse.
Odin.
I was just going to say, I'll hand that over to you, Quinn.
Odin. Yeah, Odin. I want Odin on Sleipnir on a 65mm base. Gimme. AMG, I know you want to do it. Stop being cowards.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first. I mean, I've said for a long time, I want a second leader of the Guardians.
Adam Warlock.
And I mean, yeah, it has to be Adam Warlock. We've seen. I don't know where my cards are now because I've actually posted out all the cards, but we've seen characters like Agent Venom, who is a Guardian as well. So some more Guardians characters would be really good. Beta Ray Bill is a character I'd like to see because it fulfills both my Guardian side, but also a new Asgardian as well.
I mean, clearly there's a faction that needs more characters. It's one I play very often. We clearly need more Avengers characters.
More Avengers characters, yeah.
But like in reality, I want like a 3-pack of the Warriors 3. That's a thing I want. Right?
You've been saying that for a little while, Quinn, haven't you?
I've been saying it for ages because it would give Asgard so much of what they need, right? Which is lower threat characters. I mean, I'd also like some more mutants, like some cheaper Brotherhood options, for example, to make Mystique a bit more viable. So like Blob, Pyro, Avalanche are the 3 that come to mind for me. Those sorts of things.
Yeah, someone's saying Apocalypse, and I think Omnifan has backed that up there. I did a video. It was maybe the 4th or 5th video I did on Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I was talking about high threat characters that I wanted. And one of my things that I said my most wanted character was Apocalypse. Was Apocalypse, and you would get his 4 horsemen. But rather than it being an affiliation, Apocalypse would be an affiliation to himself, and he would be able to dish out the 4 sort of tokens, if you like, to any 4 characters in the game who could then be his horsemen.
I imagine it'd work a little bit like the Initiative, in a sense. Not in that it's a tactics card, but that they become part of the affiliation. You can name up to 4 characters in your squad. They become part of the affiliation, and they get a horseman token. And you've got death, war, famine, pestilence, and they all do different
things. Yeah, exactly that. So you might have, war. Something as simple as gives you +1 attack, right? You roll 1 extra die on all of your attacks. Pestilence, you're dishing out poison with all your, maybe like an Omega
giving out
Red.
Like Root or like Judgment or something.
Stun. Well, yeah, it's depends on how you define it. But yeah, that's what I'd like. That's how I would see it working. I don't know if they'll do it because obviously Dormammu does the whole I'm by myself thing. But obviously this was way before Dormammu had been released, but that was my hope for it. But yeah, probably my biggest one would be either Apocalypse or Doom.
I mean, Doom, yeah. I mean, really the thing is, Doom. There's no point even saying Doom because he's going to happen at some point.
Well, I think Apocalypse as well, right? They're all going to happen.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Odin is in the game. He just gives you his blessing.
No, I don't want his blessing. I want him riding this stupid horse and mowing people down.
But let me know in the chat. Let's have a quick look through. Nova and Quasar. I like that as a dual pack. Cool.
I have no idea what Quasar does.
Energy shit, I think.
Like almost every other space character got it. Fucking original.
Nightcrawler and Psylocke, yes. I would like to see Nightcrawler.
I do want Nightcrawler.
You would have to put on the German. I'm not going to do it.
It is me, the Nightcrawler.
Can I? I am here to fix your washing machine.
Hello, it's me, Nightcrawler.
Fantomex and Angel to build Mark Remender's Uncanny X-Force. Fantomex.
Remember, Fantomex is a Guardian card in Marvel Champions. And it's the only thing I know about him. No, that's Martin X. Sorry.
I'm just looking now at who Fantomex is.
He is. Is he the teleporty guy? No, he's not the teleporty guy. That's a different dude.
He is Fantomex.
Marksman and a hand-to-hand combatant. Attributes.
Let's have a look. Okay, I mean, he looks like
brains. What?
I think it looks really interesting.
And nano-active blood, okay.
I like the idea. Yeah, this guy sounds really cool.
Oh, right, and then, like, his 3 brains all got a different body. Okay. He's got a cyber mind.
Whoa!
I do love the silly names they give comic abilities.
Hank Moody, thank you for the donation, buddy. That's really appreciated. Wow. I think you're the first person ever to donate. So yeah, dude, thank you so much. Really appreciated. Goes to the cause. We are building a gaming table at the moment. I recently bought some. I've just been showing Quinn, but some autumnal foliage for the gaming board, which we're putting together at the moment. So yeah,
I do like how you said we.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely helping.
He's a weapon plus character. Star Saber for X-Force 2. Sorry for the spam. I can do this all day. So could... Oh, I nearly did a Doctor Strange spoiler then. How long has it been since Strange came out? Can we talk about Strange yet? Or maybe give it another week.
No, we can't.
Give it another week.
It's like a month. I think a month is fair.
Hello, and Phantom X could be another X-Force leader. Hey, Jess. Hope you're well, buddy. Long-time supporter of the show. Thank you.
That's this dude, right?
Phantom X is really cool.
He looks cool.
Rhino and Scorpion for Spider-Foes. Yeah. Rhino's a must.
Yeah, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, Electro, Shocker, all of those characters.
I think what we'll see is we'll see. You tend to see waves, don't you?
It seems like we're getting a cycle now of updating older affiliations, right? Because we're getting Black Order updates, we're getting Asgard updates,
so
those sorts of things.
The two that we need, Quinn, are Defenders and Inhumans. Because let's be honest, I actually think they might be more not unplayable, but just not fun. Red Hulk, so we can play Thunderbolts. I would love a Red Hulk for Thunderbolts.
I mean, if that's another affiliation with Zemo in, sign me up.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. David Moffat, dude, thank you so much. CA? Oh, Canadian dollars. I was trying to work out what CA was then. Really, really appreciate it, guys.
They're clearly Cambodian Arnolds.
Cambodian Arnolds, yes. At the very least. So I'll tell you, so another one that I would really like to see, guys. I would very much like to see an Old Man Logan.
Are you thinking like what I'm thinking? 3-threat Logan with healing factor 1.
Yeah, old man Logan, right? He's grizzled, he's gnarled, he's past his best, but he's got some goddamn fight in him.
Aren't you just describing yourself now?
I mean, he's not
grizzled,
far off.
gnarled, past your best.
Adamantium skeleton.
I don't know about that last bit.
Adamantium skeleton? I mean, that's what I tell myself when I get on the scales every morning. It's the adamantium skeleton. I'm just big boned. That would be, I think, because I mean, Quinn, you've heard me say this before. I'm a boomer. I grew up on the 90s X-Men cartoon, and I really want...
alive then.
I know. I really want the X-Men to be good.
Feel old.
I really want the X-Men to be good, and I think Old Man Logan would be absolutely amazing. And then fuck it, you go with everything else. You go with like Old Man, not Old Man, but you go with like old Hawkeye, Evil Hulk with his kids, like
Maestro, isn't it?
Is it Maestro? Yes, it is Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro.
Yeah. So Quinn,
Wrecking Crew's a good shout as well. Actually.
Oh yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah,
bunch of like 2 and 3 threat characters for Syndicate or something.
That would be good. Yeah, Crimson could do with some low level
some crappy mooks,
right? Because they should be right. Crimson should predominantly be 2 threat characters.
It should just be plebs. Yeah.
I want to see I want a new version of Kingpin and the tracksuit crew, whatever they're called.
Oh, the Tracksuit Mafia.
Tracksuit Mafia. There we go.
You want like Kingpin in his Hawaiian shirt.
Old Man Logan impaled on that tree would make a great piece of terrain to throw around with Magneto. Deary me. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying no. I am not saying no. Tracksuit Mafia, absolutely, Nathan. But Quinn, a character that we've already had in the game, you can pick a different version of that character. Obviously, we've seen it with. I mean, we've got like 3 or 4 now, haven't we, of different versions? You've got 2 Scarlet, you've got 2 Black Widows, you've got 2. Who am I thinking of? Two Daredevils, 2 Strangers. I think there's only them 3 at the moment. 2
Widow,
Peter Parkers.
Strange, Daredevil, Parker.
Peter Parkers, yeah. I think there's just 4. So who go back to any character that we've had so far, a different version of them. Who would be your top pick? Obviously, mine's Old Man Logan. That's what I'd love to see.
I want a 3rd Doctor Strange. Because it'd make both me and Ron very happy.
It would
I
make
want a third Doctor Strange, multiverse leadership, ignore alter egos. I can play 3 Doctor Stranges all at once. Sounds incredible.
Nathan says 2 Tony Starks. Doc Ock for a leader. Yeah, I mean, that would probably have to be Sinister Six.
I mean, if we go away from, like, the meme of Strange, what would I like? I'm trying to think through, like, what... I want another Thor. I want, like, God King Thor or something. Like, 6 Threat Thor that's actually Thor. That'd be cool. Or even, like, Thor Odinson when he's unworthy and he has, like, the arm that's part of the Destroyer. That'd be cool. Like, him in a 2-pack with Thori the Hellhound. That's what I want.
Yeah, we've got a new Elektra, the Daredevil version. So the goody Elektra might not be as rubbish. Or it'd be the Mirror of Daredevil. His evil version doesn't suck, but his good one does. Tony Stark Army Pack.
Like as in the Iron Legion.
You spoke about Iron Legion before, haven't you?
Yeah, I still really want that pack of Bleeding Edge plus Pepper.
Well, that's what you thought, didn't you? You thought we were going to get a new affiliation last year.
In all fairness, was it not the best idea that was given?
Yeah.
Well, whatever that character pack ended up being, it wasn't as good as what I said it was going to be.
Yeah, I'd love to see them do, and maybe this is something for a little bit further on in the game, but I'd love to see them do more things like gems, but not gems. So, you take a Tony Stark, for example, right? I'd love there to be, you get a new version of Tony Stark, or maybe it's the old version of Tony Stark, but what you get are cards that are like gems that cost threat, right? But you can turn Tony from being a 3 threat, but it's the Mark 42 armor that you get for him. And it costs a threat more, and it just does something else, or a version I'd like to see a little bit more variety around that in it.
The issue I always have whenever this sort of suggestion is brought up is that they already fucked it up with gems, because, let's face it, half the characters that can take a gem will never take a gem. I imagine it will be a very similar situation. Exactly. It's not even that the gems themselves are bad, it's just that they haven't properly created a system in which a character can go up a threat and, like, be good enough to be in that threat category, right?
No, but
they need to be really good at their base threat to actually work at that high threat.
But what I'm talking about here, Quinn, is more around more, and maybe using the Iron Man example was bad, but more customizable characters, right? So you get the stats of let's say 4 threat, right? Stats of a 4 threat character, but you're missing an attack, right? And maybe it's not done with threat. Maybe it's part of it. You can take, maybe there's a character. I'm trying to think of a character that like has, can uses multiple weapons and things. War Machine might have been a really good one for it.
What you did, like just a version of Tony Stark where he's like calling the armor to him, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like when he falls off the tower, and I think it's Avengers Assemble, like the first Avengers movie. And all, like, the parts of the suit start flying towards him, and he eventually gets it on. You do, like, a 3-threat version of Tony Stark like that, and, start the game, you pick 2 upgrades out of a set of 5, and those are the ones that he has, right? Those are, like, the bits of the armor that he's managed to call to him in time for this fight.
Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, that sort of thing. But just a bit more customization within characters, I think, would be a good way of mixing it up a little bit. But it's... it's all about balance, isn't it? And it's already difficult to balance this game with how many characters got coming out. So, Cosmic Ghost Rider, 100 goddamn percent OmniFan. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he already is, right? But absolutely,
yeah, of course, that's what you're concerned with.
Absolutely. Some like equipment cards that give people some upgrades, like enhancements and equipment in MTG. Yeah, exactly that, Lars. That's what I'm talking about. So you can pick a different loadout for characters, but then maybe you're getting into, maybe you're skirting away from it being a miniatures game, and you're getting into, but it's no different, right? When when you've got a, excuse me, you look at a hero or a character from Star Wars Legion or other skirmish games or 40k games and that sort of thing.
They typically tend to be the games that stray the line between skirmish and mass battle, though, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe. But I just thought it'd be a cool thing. Hobgoblin. As second goblin, we need more gliders. I'm absolutely fine with that. No issue there.
What was the first thing you said when you tried to say hobgoblin?
Goblin.
Is he friends with Edris Ilbert?
I think he is, yeah. Edris Ilbert. What about a mission called Infinity War and the objectives are the gems? That'd be cool.
Exists. It exists.
No, I think OmniFan means an actual
normal get, but like that is a thing. It's like a organized play kit, and you do literally pick up the gems in it.
Yeah, you do. But I think something like that'd be cool. More. Do you know what? More crisis cards. We absolutely need more crisis cards. This game is crying out for.
I don't play this game very often at the moment, just because there's not been anything released for absolutely ages. At least nothing that's taken my interest, because I don't really care about grunts. Nah. I don't mind them being in the game. I just don't want to play with them. Just an injection of just new stuff. Like, whether that be characters or crises, would be absolutely delightful.
Yeah, because we've already seen the next two releases. We already know there's no crisis coming.
There's no crisis cards in those, yeah.
And I think I really, really do want to see more cards. It's
Lars, that's just cruel.
Charles Xavier for 2 threat, but he can be upgraded to a 5 threat to come with a wheelchair so he can move. Deary me. Scalp Hunter, says Anders. That's really cool. The God Butcher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, supposedly coming up in Love and Thunder, right?
Well, I think 100% is, and they're saying that he's more powerful than Thanos. Is what they're saying. Now I don't know if they're saying.
Are they doing that for hype reasons?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, he's going to take down the Greek pantheon. So is it Greek pantheon? Zeus? Yeah, it is Greek, isn't it?
I mean, they are the shittest pantheon, to be fair. Like, they're the least interesting of all the pantheons across the world.
Off script, right? Let me know in chat as well, because I read a lot of like Neil Gaiman-esque type stuff, so, and other things that like involve pantheons. But favorite pantheon, Quinn?
I mean, you know the answer.
Is it Asgard, really?
It's the Norse pantheon, yeah. Because I like the fact that Loki got fucked by a horse. I find it very entertaining.
See, mine is the Tuatha De Danann, which is
the
Irish pantheon. Which, if you ever read a book called the Iron Druid Chronicles, or a series called the Iron Druid Chronicles,
the thing you keep getting me to try and read, and I will eventually.
They are highly recommend it to anyone. Absolutely amazing. But this guy goes across, he basically is pissed off every pantheon there is. Bragor could lead the King in Black. I don't know who Bragor is.
No, he's saying bruh.
Oh, Gore could leave the king. Ah, okay.
Lead it to the King in Black, who is Null.
I mean,
real cool, and would also be Aaron's wet dream.
Symbiote affiliation. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be very, very excited.
It'd be very cool. The thing is, like, that'd be a very highly costed affiliation.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to. Again, there'd have to be something else about it, wouldn't there?
I mean, because like Null's at least a 6, probably a 7.
Yeah.
Like,
Obviously,
he's killed Celestials.
Carnage and Venom themselves are 4
Of
each.
course. I mean, you could probably get, like, Scream and Toxin to be, like, 3s, but...
Poison as well could be. So it's
Yeah.
yeah,
And Anti-Venom is maybe, like, a less offensive healery one.
yeah, maybe. That'd be good. Dark Elves.
Yeah?
We've not had any Dark Elves in this. Obviously, they're one of the.
I mean, there's only, like, one, though, right?
Well, what's the other one called? Obviously, there's Malekith, but then you've got another one. Who was the? And it's like the guys that crush the stones, and like they always remind me of like the Urukai, right?
Oh,
you know
right.
where
You
they're
mean like the Yokai Berserkers where
Yeah,
they're suicide bombers?
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's Steve the Dark Elf.
Steve the Dark Elf and Frank. Don't forget Frank the Dark Elf.
We'll talk about Frank.
Would Agent Venom be part of that team?
I mean, like the Venom symbiote is the only one that tried to oppose Null, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Because like Eddie tried to like fight back and become the king of the symbiotes or something. I've not read the run because I don't read comics.
It always depends, doesn't it? And this is what they always say, don't they? In about Marvel Crisis Protocol characters, is that typically
they are a snapshot in
they're
time,
a snapshot, right? But usually a snapshot of when they're in a team, because usually in a comic book team up, characters are powered down. So when I interviewed Will Schick a while back, that's one of the things he said, is that typically they take them from a snapshot in time where they're not at the most powerful, which is typically as part of a team. So that would be interesting. Which hero in X-Men Champions do you think should come out? X-Men Champions. Is that the game that I play?
Probably.
No, it's X-Men United. X-Men Champions.
Let's do a Google.
Is that Marvel Champions? I don't know.
No,
we still need a load of
yet.
Shields, many notable agents. I think you're almost guaranteed you're going to get Jessica Drew and Quake. I think
I have no idea who Marvel, like the X-Men champions are.
Yeah. Gabrielle.
No, that's actually swords.
Gabrielle says, I wanted to greet you from Chile. Wow, all the way from Chile.
I imagine that's Gabriel, not Gabriel.
Probably, yes. And congratulate
Considering
you
there's
on
not
your
like
channel.
the extra like L or E.
Maybe, yes. I love your reviews. Well, thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. But I don't know which X-Men champion you mean or what it is. So if you'd let us know that, we'll try and answer that question. Oh, Worldbreaker Hulk. Omnifan, absolutely.
I don't think we need a Hulk that's stronger than the one we've got.
We
He's
do.
already pushing the limits of a 6 threat.
We need an 8-threat Hulk that goes toe-to-toe with Thanos and just pounds him to the ground.
Rips him in half.
Also, any X-Men hero. We mentioned a few earlier on. Blob. I mean, from X... What I would love to see
X-Men
is...
specifically.
I mean, I do want to see a Charles at some point. I really do want to see a Charles.
I quite like Wolfsbane. I think they'd be cool.
Wolfsbane would be cool. I'd love to.
In that same vein, I'd like Werewolf by Night because they'd be a Midnight Sun.
It'd be pretty cool. I also wouldn't mind seeing some Alpha Flight, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah, you want to play Puck, don't you?
I want to play Puck, Sasquatch, Guardian, I think his name is. All of those.
The Wonder Twins or whatever they're called.
Shatterstar and I can't remember but I can't remember the wear black and white outfits, don't they? Pyro and Ice
coordinated twins. That's what the colour coordinated twins.
Quinn, see, Nathan agrees. Pyro and Iceman would make a good mutant box. Yes, it would, Nathan.
Not this again. He's coming with like Blob and Avalanche.
Emma Frost for X-Men and Hellfire Club. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with Emma Frost. Obviously, Transform is a big thing in this game
I reckon
now.
Transform 2 miniatures, 1 diamond, 1 normal.
So yeah, you put her in a diamond form.
Maybe like in a box with Sebastian Shaw.
And actually have a Hellfire Club.
I mean, the only other dude from the Hellfire Club I remember is the guy with the worst power ever, which is like he can make people weigh a little bit more. He was my favourite in the cartoon.
And there we go. Jess agreed, throwing Sebastian Shaw. But yeah, guys, I mean, and that's the cool thing about this game, right? Is the IP is huge. There's so much that they can go for. So yeah, it's gonna be really good. The best thing that can happen is they keep renewing their license and they keep being able to make this awesome game. Silver Samurai, I like it. Omnifan, cool. I do like it. Guys, we're getting up to the hour mark. So what we're going to do is now jump into the next part of the show. But thank you for all of your chat. Thank you for all of your super chats. Thank you for all the support. I think we've 30 odd people now on the stream. So yeah, thank you to everyone joining us. But we are going to go on to the, do you even paint though?
I mean, the answer is no, I don't.
Prize
I'm very bad.
The really cool, hopefully it's not too shallow. Let me get my other box because it's not, that one's still in cellophane. But the really cool Rivals pack, that's the Crash Sentinel.
I had a feeling it was when it glanced by the camera. Like, that doesn't look right.
So the Rivals pack, this has now arrived. So you're going to have one more chance to be able to win this, guys. So whatever Quinn sets this week will be next week's. And next week we will announce the winner of it. So Quinn,
what's the hardest thing
no pressure. No pressure. So let's jump over. So the way this works, guys, is on the Discord, there's a weekly painting competition channel in there. Every week we set a new painting competition and basically submit an entry and you automatically get entered into the prize draw. Even if you don't win, even if you don't get mentioned, but then every week we pick out 2 honourable mentions and then 1 winner. And that part of it's just for a little bit of fun. But we always get some really, really good ones. I chose last week that we were going to go for underappreciated characters, particularly from the Black Order. So Ebony Maw and I know they called him Cull Obsidian again, and Black Dwarf.
You called him Obsidian Black.
I did call him Obsidian Black, yeah.
Double wrong.
Double wrong? Isn't a double negative a right? I don't know.
No. You are always taught 2 wrongs don't make a right, Rich. Come on. That explains a lot about you.
It really does, yeah. So first honourable mention then, and it's another one from our good friend of the channel, Mr. Not47. He went with both, so we've got both Ebony Maw and why can't I think of Black Dwarf's name? What is wrong with me? As always,
gotten in there and just completely removed it from your mind.
2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 lefts do, says Nathan. I agree wholeheartedly. So yeah, super work as always. Really, really clean. And I love the backdrop that we've got there. I don't think we've seen that backdrop before. But yeah, really, really like that one. So yeah, well done on that one. Let me just get the next one teed up. So that was, make sure I do it in the right order. So the next one then is an entry from Evil Steve. I'm sure you're not that evil unless you're a friend of Quinn's.
You can't be as much as an arsehole as Rich. You're not that could console you.
So I think I picked this one out, Quinn. And whilst I'm going to say the backdrop, obviously not as good as Knott's, right? Mark down for the backdrop. Although you do have our Discord server in the background, so we will let you off for that. We let you off if you've got the Discord server. You get extra points if you manage to catch an episode of the Weekly Bugle in the background as you take your picture. That always scores you bonus points. Yeah. But for me, Quinn, on this one, that non-metallic work on his armour was just really, really clean. You know me, I love some NMM. Still something I've never really mastered myself, but I thought Steve. Well, I'm going to call you Steve, not Evil Steve. I thought you'd done a really
what about
really good job.
Normal Steve? I'm sure that's a person on the Discord somewhere.
Is anybody normal?
Wait, let me very quickly look. I'm definitely not immediately changing my profile to say normal Steve on it.
Nathan says I made it on the stream as in the picture in the background. Well done, buddy. Well done. And then as always, there can only be one winner every week, but this one caught both of our attention, Quinn, didn't it? It met a lot of the criteria, guys. But the winner for this week, who goes in our Hall of Fame, or Wall of Fame, I should say, is Graham. So really,
that clearly says Graham. Graham.
Graham. That's how you spell Graham, isn't it? That's how you spell Graham.
Doesn't it have an H in it?
I think it's one of those ones that you can
Is
spell
this
it
like the
different
French
ways.
spelling of Graham?
Maybe it is.
Graham.
Maybe it is. Really nice work. Again, you don't often see, Quinn, an open door on terrain. So
I mean, you also
really
very
that.
rarely get sort of like the yellow lines on the road sections for the bases as well, which I quite like.
Yeah, does add to the aesthetic. Trying to ping Steve in the server gives only evil Steve and Stevie. Nice one, Lars. But yeah, really, really nice paint job from Graham. I'm going to call him Graham. From Graham there. Really, really good work. And yeah, absolutely. That looks like an absolutely amazing board that he's put together there. Yeah. If you look, Quinn, actually on that picture, the little boxes around. Let me see.
The little planters,
are actually what I'm going for on my board as well, because I think they look really, really, really nice. So yeah, there we go, guys. Well done to everyone that entered. Well done to our two runner-ups, and well done to Graham for the win. You'll go on our Hall of Fame. Oh, it's that time again, isn't it? Quinn, what's the theme for this week?
The theme for this week is race war.
Please fucking clarify as quickly as possible.
Okay. So it's characters that have effectively a racial special rule. So like Asgardian and Inhuman.
Thank fuck for that. Okay.
I knew what I was doing.
Okay. So any character, so that would be, I mean, that is Asgard and Humans.
Telling it's just those two.
Yeah. So anyone with a special.
We'll also accept the Kree that are immune to poison.
Okay.
It's actually a unifying thing across all of them.
Unless you're Ronan.
Ronan's immune to poison.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like the Kree thing. Yeah, they're immune to poison because Marvel's immune to poison as well. The Inhumans are also all immune to poison, but they're like Kree lab subjects, aren't they?
They are, yes. Yeah. Race war, so only long movers. No, but that could be a good one, Lars, for a future video. Yeah, I was very worried then, guys, with where Quinn was going with this one. It did worry me. Okay, so anyone with a trait is the word. So any Inhuman, any Asgardian, Rogue, and Ronan. Is that
Rogue,
it?
Marvel, Ronan,
and Marvel as well. Yeah,
because they're all like Kree themed.
I like it because there's no others.
I'm also not accepting any mutants because they're not real people.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, they done.
Fuck you and your boomer mutants.
They done.
Avengers forever.
Well, you know the rumor, don't you, around why Inhumans were made in the first place? Because they're fairly.
They were to replace the mutants once Fox got the license.
Exactly that. Yeah, because they're a fairly new. They're a fairly new
fucking similar
characters that were problematic only. Racist Cap, Kingpin. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
We can save that for one of your weeks, Rich.
Yeah, maybe that is. Yeah, maybe not at all. Maybe not at all. How about Groot? He has living plant.
No, there has to be a passive superpower.
Okay. Lars says he literally just went no more mutants. He thinks he's the
I
Scarlet
really did.
Witch.
I mean, you know, I do feel like I'm a Nexus being in the same vein as Scarlet Witch. I'm the same in all realities.
This is true. This is true. Guys, I think that's probably it for this week. It's 6:20. We've been going for well over an hour now. And I'm going to the pub tonight, as I usually am in most of these videos.
Yeah, you're going to go to the pub, then you're going to have your little sleepover, then you're going to abandon your friends to come play Toy Soldiers with me.
Well, I'm actually going to the pub to do the quiz tonight. So it's the pub quiz.
What, is it a general quiz or is it a themed quiz?
No, it's just general knowledge quiz.
I mean, you are shit at general knowledge.
I'm fucking amazing at general knowledge.
Are you fuck? You can't even remember fucking Black Dwarf's name.
What I'm really good at, Quinn, is surrounding myself with people
that are intelligent, like me.
A good manager surrounds himself with people whose job they couldn't do. There we go. Symbiote instinct for Venom.
I'll allow it. It's an innate. I'll also give you Carnage's one, which I think is serial killer something majig. Because I feel like that represents his symbioteness.
Oh, hang on a second. T4 was here, says, no. The Inhumans began as some sci-fi bullshit the Fantastic Four
they were, and then they got expanded and brought into 4 to fuck over mutants.
Yeah, I think you are right. T4 was here. I think they were, they were initially introduced there, but then they had like a little bit of a.
I mean, like half the characters in Marvel were introduced in like the Fantastic Four in the 60s, right?
Lars calling it. One of the questions is going to be, well, it's Idris Elba. We all know who played Heimdall.
No, it's not going to be who played Heimdall. It's going to play who played Knuckles in Sonic.
Who played Knuckles in Sonic. Yeah. There we go. Guys, thank you to everyone that's joined. Every week we get more and more people on here. So it's obviously you guys are enjoying it. And I think, as I said from the beginning, this is so much more fun for me and Quinn because it means we don't have to just talk to each other. We get other people to talk to as well. So
I mean, also we don't have to take 10-minute breaks due to which you fucking know.
This is true. Guys, if you haven't dropped the video a like, it would be really, really appreciated. There's 30 of you in the chat right now, so if each and every one of you could drop a like on the chat or like on the video, it would be really, really appreciated. Thank you to everyone who I think they're called super chats. I didn't know I turned them on, but apparently I have. So thank you to everyone who dropped a super chat. As I mentioned before, everything that the channel makes really goes into 2 different pots. It goes into buying more things, building more things for the channel, or ends up usually in a charity pot where we do some charitable things as well. So thank you for that. Really, really appreciated. Excellent, guys. Well, we will leave it there. If you have liked the video, which you all should have done, leave a like. It really does help. I wouldn't want to talk to Quinn either, Rich or a champ. Jason, the public service that I do by talking to Quinn for hours on end.
I mean, yeah, we're not going to get into the crime that got you that sentence.
This is true. Yeah, this is true.
It's it was worth life in prison. You got out on a plea deal.
No, actually, he said what you've done is worse than life in prison. You need to babysit Quinn for a year. Guys, if you haven't checked out the Discord server, go check it out. We're starting to play some other games as well over there. So we're playing a lot of Marvel Champions at the moment. That's quite a lot of the MCP crowd are getting into. And if anyone wants a demo game of Marvel Champions, reach out on the Discord server. There's 4 or 5 people on there now that are more than happy to give out demo games.
Fuck you. I'm not giving you a demo.
Hey, Jason, what's your name? It's Jason. Fuck you, Jason. What's
your name?
It's redoing. It's doing the rounds again, isn't it? That one. That little one. If you want to support the channel even further and be part of our monthly Patreon tournament.
Weekly tournament sounds a bit much.
Our monthly tournament, you can check out the Patreon. There'll be a link down in the description below. And then we've got our merch store as well, where you can get all sorts of different things. So, as usual, it seems like just getting here for the ending. Well done, Swedish troll. But guys, as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.